Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Right now, a look at what else is going on here in the Metro today. We begin with an update from Overland Park Police on the investigation of a teenager who was shot by an officer outside of his home last month. KCTV5's Caroline Sweeney joins us now with the latest on that story. Caroline?
Well, Carolyn, today we got an up-close look at what happened the day a police officer shot and killed a teen in Overland Park that they say was suicidal. And earlier this morning, the Johnson County District Attorney says what the police officer did that day was justified. The dash cam video is intense and shows us what happened in the moments leading up to when the teen was shot and killed. Now, we are going to freeze the video before you see the gunshots, but you can see the van moving down the driveway toward the police officers. And Steve Howe says he wanted to release the video because there's a lot of misinformation coming out on social media. Howe says the car, the minivan that you can see driving out of the driveway, played an important role in what investigators finally determined what happened.
And based on the actions of that vehicle, it was the determination of this office that the officer had a reasonable belief that his life was threatened, and then used deadly force.
Now, Howe had a very long discussion with the media about why he thought it was important to release the video. And before he had this press conference today, he says he spoke with the family and made the video available to them. Live in Olathe at the Johnson County District Attorney's Office, Caroline Sweeney, KCTV5 News.
Video released showing police kill unarmed 17yo boy in his driveway, no charges. By Jack Burns, February 21, 2018. Johnson County, KS. No charges will be filed against an unnamed Overland Park police officer who shot and killed an unarmed 17-year-old boy on January 20, 2018. Police were called to the home of teenager John Albers after his girlfriend said she was afraid he was going to kill himself. Police arrived and one officer opened fire on Albers as the teen backed out of his driveway. The shooting was caught on police dashcam, and one angle seems to show the teen start to back the family's minivan out of the driveway before being confronted by the police officer. That officer fired an initial 2 shots. After the first 2 shots were fired, Albers may have been wounded and it caused him to push the gas. The vehicle then spun out in donut-like fashion, nearly hitting the officer. Fully engaged in the conflict, the officer then opened fire with 11 more bullets, further wounding and eventually killing the reportedly distraught teen. Once again, another American family is faced with the sad reality: an officer of the peace ended their son's life in the family's own front yard. That officer has since resigned from the police force for personal reasons. Johnson County District Attorney Steve Howe told reporters in a news conference with Overland Park Police Chief Frank Donchez that no charges would be filed against the officer because he was following police procedure. Predictably, Sheriff Donchez took the side of his former officer when he said he was out of the way at one point, but as you saw, the van turned around and came back at him. One of the misconceptions is that if you are alongside a vehicle you are no longer subject to danger. That's not remotely true. One cut of the wheel to one side or other can take you down with the side of the vehicle. Don't let the fact that he's alongside the vehicle fool anyone into believing that he's no longer in danger. A vehicle can be a weapon. That factored into our equation. Following the shooting, the Johnson County Officer-Involved Shooting Investigation Team, OISIT, conducted the post-shooting investigation. As TFTP has reported, in other states when there's an officer-involved shooting, the police department from which the officer was employed cannot take the lead. Predictably, OISIT, after investigating its own county's police department, found no wrongdoing on the part of the still unnamed officer. Albers' family issued the following statement on social media after their son was gunned down outside their home. We are heartbroken at the loss of our beloved son, John. We truly appreciate the outpouring of support from friends, family, and community. Thank you for your thoughts and prayers and for respecting our privacy during this very difficult time. John was loved by many. John Albers was a junior at Blue Valley Northwest High School. He was a member of the wrestling and soccer teams and was involved with at-risk youth in a Kansas City-based soccer league. The officer who killed him reportedly knew Albers, but it is unclear how he was known by police. Friends of Albers say he was unfairly portrayed in a negative light but was, in fact, loyal, courageous, and compassionate. Dozens of his friends gathered outside his home, wrote memories of Albers on balloons and released them following a vigil. The young man's death is one of nearly 1,200 deaths by officers recorded yearly. He was unarmed. He was suicidal. And he was killed by a cop who was supposedly in fear of his life. Fox 4 Kansas City, in its coverage of the shooting, encouraged its readers to call 911 if citizens are suicidal. Many residents will likely rethink that suggestion following this report, which accurately details how a suicidal person can become a victim of homicide by dialing 911, killed by the very people who are sent to help. Something has to change. DeHowe said police get 2,400 calls for help by suicidal people and their families. He admitted police need more training in dealing with the mentally ill. Please give us more resources to deal with mental health crisis in the country. Unfortunately, the vast majority of our officer-involved shootings involve people with mental illness, Howe said. John Albers was born Valery Alexandrovich Jemhujev in Belarus. He was adopted by Sheila Albers, principal of Harmony Middle School, and Steve Albers when he was just an infant. Reflecting on John's adoption, Sheila said, "John brought us much more joy than we brought him in the sense that he fulfilled our dreams of becoming parents. There's nothing more beautiful than that." The following is dashcam footage from the actual shooting. One can clearly see the officer open fire on Albers before he started driving erratically. Those two shots were likely unnecessary and would have made any motorist attempt to flee or cause them to lose control. Unfortunately, the officer will never be held accountable for his reckless actions, charged with murder, or spend any time behind bars. But if the average citizen had done what he did, they likely would be held without bond until trial. That's what is wrong and needs to be fixed.
County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now, you know, $1 a day, I mean $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.